Hello there, welcome to the presentation. The focus of the presentation is on causal arguments. And hopefully after the end of this presentation, you can sort of refresh your memory, or if you're not familiar with the concept, it will give you more clarity on it. Right? And there's also a activity that you can partake in at the end of the presentation. The link for that will be in the description box. So stay with us and let's get to it. What is a causal argument? So a causal argument is a type of argument that makes causal claims. Okay, it proves that X causes Y, right? There's a cause and effect relationship in this type of argument. Okay, an effect has a cause in its reasoning, right? So it's sort of like a causal relationship within the argument. So X is the cause and Y is the effect. Alright, so I'm going to show you some examples on the next slide. Alright then, so the first example, the argument is the friction was caused by the rough surface. So the cause here would be the rough surface. These arrows are not pointing at the right direction. The cause is rough surface, okay? And friction is the effect, right? So there you go. Number 2, I am sweating because of an intense workout. So sweating is the effect, right? It's the result of a cause, right? So intense workout is going to be our cause. Okay. My car is slipping because there is ice on the road. So my car is slipping. That is an effect of what? It's an effect of the ice on the road, right? Which is the cause. And lastly, brushing teeth leads to cleaner and healthier teeth. So brushing teeth is going to be the cause. This is correct. These arrows are right. And cleaner and healthier teeth is the effect. So those are some examples. So this is a scheme for a causal argument. And a strong causal argument generally has 3 points in support of a causal conclusion. So the first premise here is X is correlated with Y. Okay. The second one is the correlation between X and Y is not due to chance. Okay. So that's important here. It's not due to chance, and it's not spontaneous. It's meaning it wasn't something that that just happened. That was coincidence, right? So X actually had an effect on Y. Okay. The third premise here is the correlation between X and Y is not due to some mutual cause or a second variable. So it wasn't due to a mutual cause or something else, which we will call Z. So pretty much nothing influenced X to cause Y, or for both to occur. Okay. The fourth one is Y is not the cause of X, meaning it is not the other way around. Okay, so Y does not cause X. Okay, X is the cause here, not Y. Y is going to remain the effect. Alright, so what do we end up with? This conclusion: X causes Y. Okay, so how do we know if a causal argument is weak? Well, there's a couple ways. One is if we know that it's actually Y that is causing X and not the other way around. Okay. Another way is if there's actually another variable. So Z in this case, we'll just call it Z. It's Z that is causing Y. Okay, and it's not really X causing Y. Okay. Another way is if we find out that the relationship is actually spontaneous and it's not causal. Okay. So the point of a causal argument is, it's a causal argument. So if the relationship is not causal, it's weak. And lastly, if there is no correlation between X and Y, meaning there's no connection between X and Y, right? So what does a weak causal argument lead to? It leads to what we call a causal fallacy, also known as questionable cause or false cause. Okay, so what is a causal fallacy? It assumes a cause for event, but there is no evidence. Okay, X caused Y, right? But there's no evidence that it was X. It could have been Z. Okay, assumption that because an event precedes another, it has to be causal. So just on the case that it precedes another, it's causal. Or assumption that because event happens at the same time as the other, it is said to have caused it. So if something happens together at the same time, the one caused the other. Okay, so that's what we call causal fallacy. So we can use causal arguments in various ways. Okay, so for example, we can use it in a general manner when we attempt to establish general or universal causal claims. For example, wearing seatbelts saves lives. Okay, or we could use it in a particular manner where we attempt to establish specific or particular causal claims. For example, the car did not start because the battery was dead. The cosmological argument, also known as the causal argument. So what does the cosmological argument state? Premise 1. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. Number 1. Premise 2. Everything / the universe comes into existence. Okay. 2. And the conclusion, thus everything / the universe has a cause. Okay. Now we can see that the form for this argument is a little different than your regular causal argument, but what does this argument say? It says that X causes Y. Okay, and how? It pretty much argues for the existence of God, in that X, God, causes Y, which is the universe or everything, which is why this is known as the causal argument. Okay, and it is a strong deductive argument because the first premise is true, the second is true, and the conclusion, which is also true, follows. Okay. So Al-Ghazali, who was Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali? He was a 12th century Persian theologian, philosopher, and logician from the Muslim tradition. Okay, and he wrote a critique of Greek philosophy in his book called Incoherence of the Philosophers. Okay, and the main argument in the book is a causal one, which is why I'm talking about him right now. Okay, so it kind of follows with the previous slide, and okay, and the argument that he presented is called the Kalam Cosmological Argument. Kalam meaning pretty much from Islamic scholasticism. Okay, so in other words, the Islamic cosmological argument. So what does he say? He says every being which begins has a cause for its beginning, right? Now the world is a being which begins. Okay, so premise 2, and the conclusion is therefore it possesses a cause for its beginning. So now it's kind of like the previous slide, the cosmological argument. It's very similar. So Ghazali argues for the existence of God. Okay, so he said, and what his argument is that X causes Y again. So God causes the universe or everything. Okay, so he pretty much uses this form, right? This syllogistic form to argue that X causes Y. Okay? Tell me what you guys think about this argument. You can leave comments in the description, or sorry, the comments section below. Okay, so we have reached the end of the presentation. Hopefully it was not too long for you, and that it was beneficial to all of us. If you have any concerns about the content of the presentation, if you feel like there are certain things that were not correct or weren't explained correctly, please do leave a comment. Also, there's a quiz that I have made for everyone so that you can partake in. It's very short, only 5 questions. So again, if you take the quiz, hopefully it can refresh your memory or help you understand the concept better. And also, if you get all answers correct in the quiz, you can win a copy of The Incoherence of the Philosophers by Ghazali. It's a very great book. If you're into theology, philosophy, logic, and stuff like that, I think you'll find it to be very intriguing. So if you would like, you can give me a shout and I can send you an e-copy of that book. Again, thank you for joining me on this presentation, and have a good day, everyone. Take care.